Okay, well, let's see if this works this time. Okay, so this is a film that has the guy who played Grand Moff Tarkin and the guy who played Darth Sidious in the same movie, along with Telly Savalas. That is some awesome stuff. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of other. Now, the plot of this movie is pretty simple. You have this guy who I think it was the guy who played Darth Sidious, doing a expedition into the Sichuan region of China to find ancient fossils and relics. He finds this. Oh, yes. This is the frozen face of the alien monster that will be terrorizing people for the rest of the movie. I have to say, this is something that the basic plot is so much like a Star Trek episode that I can't even say it's an old school Star Trek thing. It's something so recurring in Star Trek to having mind controlling aliens, body possessing aliens, shapeshifters, all sorts of things like that. That they still do that on a regular basis. This, of course, is set in the 1900s. Well, 1906, I believe, is what the title says it is. But it is the way it plays out. Yeah, it's just so much like a Star Trek episode. Obviously, you would adapt the pseudoscience to work differently in Star Trek than it does here because this is explaining everything in turn of the century medical knowledge, sort of like the explanation of how they know that it's stealing people's memories is that they claim that it's erasing the wrinkles in your brain as part of the process of stealing memories. Well, hey, Anyways, though, so let's move on to what it looks like when it's killed people. Well, that was his first. Yeah, this guy actually makes a very, very strange comment about this.
Hasta en este suelo
Something
de
about the
piedra lo hay.
creature's presence causes chalk to not work normally.
Pero Satanás es el mal.
This is
Y
something
donde
that's
está el
very,
mal,
very
no
peculiar.
hay sitio para la cruz.
Also, the logic behind why this happens is never explained. And this priest type guy
Tonterías. No
um
es más que un truco.
kind of changes sides at some point in the
Capitán,
movie.
diga, señor. ¿Quiere ordenar a sus hombres
Don't
que suban la
really
caja al tren?
know what exactly uh caused him to be like this because he makes very cryptic
Preparados.
commentary about stuff because he's a religious guy, but
Levanten.
um
Llévenla dentro.
he clearly doesn't actually know anything about it. He has some feeling that it's horrifying evil, but he doesn't know what it is. But it's a very interesting plot point, and not something that actually gets used regularly to try to identify the location of the creature because it's something so inexplicable and random that no one takes it seriously. This is the sort of thing, though, that you could put in to uh, a Star Trek version of this because of the fact that in Star Trek they have various scanning tools like, hey, this thing's emitting weird radiation, and you can track down the alien entity's location by some energy signal that it emits. This is the same kind of logic, but using a different category of technobabble. Call of Cthulhu is something that would is almost a perfect fit for the way this is set up because turn of the century normal Earth stuff for the most part is absolutely in the vein of what Call of Cthulhu does. So doing this as a Call of Cthulhu game would also work very well. And let's see, moving on. Let's take a look at what one of the people that it has killed looks like. Here we are. So when the monster kills people, it causes their eyes to go white, causes them to bleed from their nose, eyes, and mouth. And as I mentioned earlier, it causes the wrinkles in their brain to cease to exist and causes their brain to literally become smooth. And the technobabble explanation for the brain thing is that it's removing the memories, and a side effect of this is that it causes the brain to become smooth. Because the logic they have here is that wrinkles in your brain are just the way your brain stores memories. Again, technobabble. The eye thing, they didn't really explain that one particularly well. But the creature, in order to use its mind drain power, has to make eye contact. It has to look you in the eye to steal your memory. At no point in time does someone try doing things like wearing glasses or something like that. But presumably, if you avoid looking at it in the eye, it will not be able to steal your mind and kill you. At least, by using its power. Now, it can physically restrain people as part of doing the mind drain thing. It does do that on in some cases where a person is like, "Oh no, I'm going to get mind drained," and tries to escape, and then it just like grabs them to hold them still. Now, one thing that a genre savvy person might do is close their eyes. No one in this movie actually does that as a way of defending themselves from the creature. Because after people figure out that the people that actually know that don't get killed off by having their minds drained. At least after people figure out how it's killing people. For a Star Trek technobabble thing, you probably could come up with some sort of special face mask to prevent it from using its powers on you. Needless to say, of course, you will have to avoid having the monster rip the face mask off of you because it is totally smart enough to do that. It is a highly intelligent creature. And in the movie, it actually starts going around trying to collect information on how to build a rocket ship to leave the planet. Yeah, the being is from somewhere not on Earth. It has supposedly been on Earth for upwards of 2 million years. It has apparently seen dinosaurs. Oh, yeah, that's a weird thing. They're able to use a microscope in tiny pieces of the creature's eye as a way of looking at the creature's memories. And this is after the creature has jumped into a different host body and is no longer occupying the ancient humanoid body. They remove the eye from the ancient humanoid's body and start looking at it in a microscope. One thing that's noteworthy is that the ancient humanoid only has one eye. Why this is, we don't know. But it kind of sort of looks like the right eye socket was just like someone hit it with a rock or something. It's just smashed. We'll get that later. Okay, so let's move forward to when this lady decides to steal stuff. Oh, here's the smooth brain part. This is kind of amusing, but we're not there yet. Yeah, they're physically examining the dead guy, and they come on, find the exact right. Yeah, here they
¿Y qué hay del encargado de equipajes?
remove the
¿Y ese
top of
pobre
the
ladrón de la estación?
head, and not
O
quite there.
desaparecido como un escrito
Yeah, here's
borrado de
the
la pizarra.
police inspector guy. Oh, I guess I went a little too far ahead. Ah, there it is.
¿Puede decirme cómo
Yeah,
murieron?
here's where they show it. This is actually an interesting prop because they
Liso como
apparently
la piel
made
de
some
un
sort of a
niño.
prosthetic and put on the
¿Usted vio a
top of
este
the
hombre hoy
actor's
que
head
estaba normal?
to do the whole smooth
Absolutamente.
brain thing.
Debe ser un defecto de la naturaleza.
¿Qué tiene de particular este cerebro? El conocimiento.
Anyways, so going on to the here, it's like this woman who is actually on board the train to steal something that is possessed by one of the people that is on the train. Some person who's minor royalty, like a duchess or a countess or something. Okay, that's the word used, but to my understanding, she's Russian because this is set before the Bolshevik Revolution, back when the Tsars still ruled Russia. So someone who was Russian nobility from that scheme is the person that this woman is stealing from. Well, her stealing, she isolated herself in a nice dark place where the monster can because for some reason the whole like eye contact thing kind of needs darkness. Like, okay, well, the thing I was saying earlier about closing eyes, she did kind of like have her eyes closed and roll her head side to side, which you would think would help. But apparently, once it makes contact, I guess I don't know. Again, they don't explain that, and you could um, try to make your own explanation of the
Señorita,
creature's
soy
strengths
el
and
doctor
weaknesses
Wells.
because clearly it does have weaknesses. It can't just
Señorita, ¿se
kill
encuentra
everyone
bien?
by looking at them. It has limits. Like it fails to kill this guy. One thing you could possibly have as a logical limitation is saying that it can't mind drain people too often. But as it gets stronger, the more people that it has mind drained, the more often it's seemingly able to do that. And also, because it absorbs the memories of people, it's actually pretty smart.
Señorita, ¿está usted
At
ahí?
one point in the movie, someone actually makes the claim that the creature would actually become more clever than even the most naturally intelligent individual. And of course, the police inspector guy shoots it, and the monster uses its other power to swap bodies. See, the police inspector's not having his eyes and mouth start bleeding. He's just standing there, staring, dazed. Okay, it's closed. We don't really know exactly what's going on here. Was it the police inspector taking one last shot, or did the monster fire in order to make it look like the police inspector had killed it when it was in reality offing itself? Again, we don't know. She's dead, and she's not able to tell anyone. Well, that's another thing. Is that one of the pseudoscience things that they go with here is that you can see what a dead person last looked at by carefully inspecting their eyes. That was what they were going for when they examined the creature's eye. And now we have the creature looking at its new body after waking up. And then it notices the left hand. It's like, oh, that's a problem. And it's smart enough because it's absorbed the memories of several people
¿Se encuentra mejor?
to hide this deformity
Sí.
and keep the other
Ocurre algo.
passengers from noticing.
El ingeniero ya sabe.
But it's a very interesting
El
question
jugador de ajedrez
because,
me ha
as we
dicho
saw from that
que la
example,
mujer
that
asesinada era una espía
the
internacional.
ancient humanoid's form looks
lo
like
sé.
a very hairy man.
¿Ah, sí?
But,
Bueno,
well, let's skip ahead a few minutes. Oh yeah, here's a scene where they're pulling things out of the creature's eye to look at. Does this make any sense by real-world science standards? No. The idea that they espouse here is that it somehow stored its memories. That's not how anything works in real life, but whatever. Dum 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 dum. Skip ahead. Time for another person to get killed.
Está
Now
desde el
for
espacio.
the fun reveal that I was talking about
¿quién ha
earlier.
visto esas imágenes?
He walked around with his
El Dr.
hand stuck
Wells,
in his pocket
el profesor Saxton
constantly
y esa joven condosa.
because of the fact that he didn't want anyone to notice. But now he's decided that it doesn't matter anymore because he's going to kill her. So letting her see his hand doesn't matter. Because a normal human can have their hand mutated to look like the ancient humanoids. Why? Seemingly, it's part of being possessed by the ancient creature. Like the alien creature is dead, and in fact, actually goes and takes its it doesn't want to keep it. It wants to dispose of it so that no one else will be able to look at it. Very strange. Like I said, it's a very intelligent creature. A true monster. Not just a thing, but a real monster. That's whole, calculated, and yeah, they go with the whole thing that has often been pointed out as functionally impossible is detaching a train car while the train is in motion because of the amount of force. Oh, also, that's the thing I forgot to mention before, is that the alien can actually have one body working. Which one is even the primary one? Hard to say.
Moscú ordena hacer descarrilar el express cuando pase por el cambio de agujas.
But, you know.
Eso significa que
and they run the train off the cliff.
Eso es lo que
Some
ordena.
of the people live.
Habrá estallado la guerra.
We think the alien was
Eso
killed.
debe ser.
But also, why they have a train that goes off the cliff? But they do. They have a train track that just goes around. Perhaps the idea is that they were planning on making the bridge to a different location, or maybe they built a bypass while they were rebuilding the bridge. But anyways, seemingly the alien died. The train goes off the road. But like I said before, we don't really know. someone goes down there to look, and then move. So yeah, this is actually something that would be easy to do as a Call of Cthulhu scenario, but the way it's set up is in many ways very, very similar to a Star Trek episode. There have been a lot of Star Trek episodes where people did very similar things, including in the original series. And I think I'll leave it. This is something that's a fun idea, but the number one thing that you would probably want to do if using this in a Star Trek thing is having a way to force the monster to unpossess people. Because as the movie is written, once someone gets possessed, they are functionally dead. At no point do we see the monster willingly give up a body, and also once the monster has taken a body, the body is seemingly its to use as a puppet. Because as we saw in that last scene, there was several people under the entity's control. Alrighty then. Well, see you guys later.